If you are looking to upgrade your EDC or find something new, do not forget to check out the descriptions of my videos. There are links for flashlights, knives, all sorts of fun stuff. Some of them are discount codes. Some of them are just ways to find all this stuff. So definitely check that out. It helps out my channel and you might save some money. Today is going to be fun. What I have here is a package that was sent to me by a viewer of stuff to test and review. So I'm going to unbox it and see what's inside. Unboxing duty today is my Lion Steel Nano, one of my new favorite small knives. I did sell some other knives so I could keep this, which tells you how much I like it. So let's unbox this thing and see what is in here. So this was sent to me by Kevin. He is one of my viewers in the Netherlands. Oh, he left me a note here. This says, "Dear Chris, I hope these knives will contribute to your channel. Keep up the good work. Kind regards. Greetings from the Netherlands, Kevin." That is incredibly cool. Thank you very much, Kevin. Let's see what we have here. This looks like something I've never tested before. Okay, so this is an Opinel. It appears to be the carbon steel version of the Opinel. It is a nail nick opening knife. Oh, that is a very flat grind. I've never had one of these before. So super, super flat grind. It looks like, yeah, okay, so there's a tiny secondary bevel. So it's not quite a zero ground blade. But man, that is thin and slicey and super light. I'll get a weight on this here in a minute. It has that rotating collar lock. I have seen these before. And it is, okay, so it's pretty stiff. You just spin that collar a little bit and it goes right in front of the blade. I think what I'm actually going to end up doing is I'm going to lock strength test this at the end of the video. So if you want to see how strong these Opinel locks really are, watch till the end of the video. I'm going to do a full breaking strength test on this knife. Super fun. I'm going to sharpen it and test it first, but there's something else in here. Let's move this to the place of honor. All right, we'll get this up there at the front on the camera where everybody can see it while I open whatever else is in here. So also is in here, so this says Benchmade, but he did warn me that one of these things was not real. I'm assuming this is the fake Benchmade. We'll find out here in a second. Okay, so this is the carbon fiber bug out, but I think this is a this is a clone. Okay, so the reason I can tell it's a clone is, see that? This is on bearings, okay? And I'm pretty sure that the Benchmade bug out is on washers. I have had a real one in the past. So this is fake. I doubt it's really S30V blade steel like it says there. But we'll test this too. I'll do my sharpening and edge retention tests on this, see how the edge holds up on the clone. I may not do that in this video, but I am going to test and sharpen the Opinel. I'm curious about these. I know some people really like these. This is a very kind of classic light duty knife. I'm sure this design has been around forever. It's very Scandinavian in look with the wooden handle and in design. I'm noticing right away, okay, so I was worried about the fact that that handle is very round. In fact, it's completely round right here. It has to be for that collar to spin. However, what they've done is they've widened the back of the handle where your little finger goes around that knife, just like this. And what that does is it allows me to get a grip on there that keeps it from spinning. So I guess these knives have been around for 100 years for a reason. This is the Opinel number 7, made in France. But that's very comfortable for a roundish handle. And even in my XL size hands, and that handle looks pretty small, that fills my hand just fine. It's wide enough that it doesn't seem small in my hand. What we have on the Opinel is a very classic, this is a French pocket knife, classic French pocket knife construction. You have a wooden handle that also forms the bolster here on the inside. It's a single piece of wood, sanded and carved down to this shape. Then you have an inner reinforcing ring around the inside of that bolster there. You have a single pin that runs through the blade and through the inner bolstering and the handle to keep the blade in place. And then you have this rotating ring here that serves as the locking mechanism. This one's new, so it's pretty stiff. So it's really just all those pieces, and that's how it's held together. It's just with the pin, and then the locking pieces also keep the pin in. So very unlikely that it would fall apart. There's a raised spot inside of that pin right there, or inside of this ring that keeps it from sliding back up that way. There's another spot right there that slides into a groove on the inner bolster. So it's kind of double retained, nice, reliable cutting design for relatively lightweight tasks. So let's sharpen this up and get to testing. One interesting thing to note about these knives is that Buck tried to duplicate a design like this a few years back. I went to the Smoky Mountain Knife Works around that time, and one of the employees there showed me how the Buck knives, when you rotated that lock to lock the blade, they would stick and freeze up. So Opinel, over the course of however many years they've been making these knives, has mastered the art of making these sliding collar locks. Other brands that have tried, like Buck, theirs didn't go so well. So if you're going to buy one of these, buy the original. They definitely have figured it out. They've worked out all the bugs over many, many years. Theirs function just fine. Interestingly enough, while this takes two hands to open, so this is a nail nick knife, right? You cannot open it with one hand. You have to have one hand on the knife, other hand in the nail nick, and then pulling it open. And while it does take two hands usually to close that lock, these can be closed from the open position with one hand. You can get your thumb around that lock, twist it this way with one hand, and then close the knife like so with one hand. So not one-handed opening, but definitely can be one-handed closed. One thing to consider about these knives is just how you're going to be using them. That super thin blade that slices through vegetables very easily does pretty good on rope and slices paracord super quick, and zip ties just pop off. Didn't hold up very well in my edge testing on wood. So I do cuts through these bamboo dowels to test knife edges. I consider a good edge to be over 200 as far as edge retention. This knife only did about 60 cuts before it starts to tear and do things that I expect an edge not to. So right where I was doing the edge testing, you can see that is no longer slicing cleanly, it's tearing. I consider that to be edge failure. So the same blade geometry that helps you with lightweight stuff also means that this is pretty much just a lightweight use knife, or you have to use it pretty carefully. But let's get to what everybody actually wants to see about this knife, which is testing the lock and seeing how strong it is. Here we go. So I think the most reasonable way to call that would be a partial failure at 9 pounds and a complete failure of that lock at 27 pounds. So it definitely is the weakest lock that I've tested so far. But again, this is not a hard use knife. It's not really designed to be super strong, just enough to keep it from getting bump close and cutting your fingers. Here is how the Opinel lock strength stood up against other locks I have tested to breaking on this channel before. If you would like to send me items to test, you can too. Message me on Facebook or Instagram at Knives Sports Adventures. You can find me in both places. Let me know what you want to send me and I will give you a place to send it. Thank you very much again to Kevin for sending me some cool stuff to test. As always, don't forget to check out the description if you're interested in finding any of the products that you saw on this channel today. Also, there are discount codes for Neil's Gadgets and other places, so you can get lots of cool gear for less money.